All right, welcome back to the Yulia TV show. And today I am so freaking excited. It is such an honor and a pleasure to introduce to you one of my mentors, Jeroen. And I really believe that, sometimes, I don't know if you guys can relate, but, you apply the strategy, right, to the T. You do the mindset work every single day. You listen to your audios, you're listening, you're reading the books, you're doing the meditation, you're doing your affirmations, like you're just doing everything possible. I don't know if you guys are like me, but that's how I am when it comes to succeeding. And I didn't have my breakthrough yet. And I was wondering why, what is the block? Like, what is it? What's happening? Why is it that all these people are making so much money? And me, on the other hand, I'm still stuck. It's like no matter how hard I work, I still got stuck. How many of you here can relate? So just comment down below if you can relate to that. I'm just looking at the comments here. So Rosie says there's no sound. Let us know if everything is working smoothly. I want to make sure that you guys can hear us. But yeah, comment down below if you can relate to something like that. So basically what I did is, I had to swallow my ego, I had to swallow my pride, and I decided that it is time to get some help. And that's where I actually found Jeroen. Okay, so our audience says it can hear us fine. I found Jeroen, and he was actually recommended by my millionaire mentor, Derek. So Jeroen works with high-level people, with top leaders in the industry. And I said, hey, if these top leaders are hiring him, and they're winning, they're succeeding. Clearly, Jeroen must have some spice. So I hired him, and I started working with him early in the fall. And I think you guys might have noticed some major breakthroughs that I was starting to have, right? So within just a couple of 24 hours that I hired him, I had a $350 day. I started having $2,000 days, $3,000 days, $5,000 and a half in a single week, right? I manifested a $10,000 conference to Hawaii. I've just been so lucky, and now I've crossed over $21,000 online, and I'm really free. I'm really living the lifestyle that I've always dreamed of, that I thought was just a distant dream, and now is a reality. And the crazy part is that it was effortless. A lot of times we think we have to work, and we have to make some things happen. But we come across these energy blocks that are much deeper, and we cannot access it with our own conscious mind. And Jeroen is absolutely gifted and talented and has a natural gift at going deep, even generations down, and to release certain energetic blocks to help you not only transmit the energy that you're trying to attract in your life, but also receive, right? And I think this is a crucial part of really achieving a breakthrough. So, Jeroen, I just wanted to introduce you to my audience because you have been my lucky charm. Every time I work with you, miracles happen, and it would be selfish for me to keep you all to myself. So maybe you can just kind of introduce yourself and share your journey that has led you to this path. And, how is it really possible to have these breakthroughs? Mostly what I want to know is how come people don't break through despite everything that they do? Despite all the mindset, the mentoring, all the work that they do, why is it that they're stuck? So maybe you can kind of introduce yourself and kind of go into that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting me, Yulia, first of all. And yeah, it's funny, like you mentioned, because this is exactly what happened to me. I was starting to work online. I've been in network marketing for quite a while, tried different stuff. And it was down to a point, I think about 2.5 years ago now, where I finally was able to look at myself, because most of the time we are always looking for this or that strategy, and if you just have to believe that you are able to do this, and then we blame the company, we blame the products, we blame everything but ourselves. And in the end, I was looking in the mirror and I was actually transferring, an offline network marketing concept. And I was introduced to the online world, to the internet marketing world of affiliate marketing. And then I got to the point where I thought to myself, it's not about them. It's not about the product. It's not about the company. It's about me. So what is it that is holding me back somehow? And why can't I just really, go there where I see people out of nowhere succeed like crazy? So when I got introduced to this model, I worked my ass off, literally. I live here in Europe, in the Netherlands, and there I have a lot to do with time zones. So I had to work, all-nighters to just get stuff done, and because I was still in my full-time job. And then I've had some really, really huge months that it clicked. Like, I was focusing on personal development. I was focusing on really growing myself personally. Because if there's one thing that I really learned about entrepreneurship, it's that you have to be, or you have to push yourself, and you're being pushed to really look at yourself and not really, only put in the action that is needed, but to really grow as a person. Because it all comes down to you. There's no salary anymore. There's no boss telling you what to do. But there's also not a security of, having your salary at the end of the month. So I think that is a great way. And I kind of dove in deep because I hated my job. I really wanted to leave there. And that's what I did like 2 years ago. I was online for just a couple months, and I had a couple of great months. And then I was like, this is my now or never. I just got to do this. And that's when it all crushed. It all crashed down. It all fell into pieces. And I remember the day, like yesterday, I went to Nashville in the US to a company event where I met my mentor. We had the same mentor, Darren Little, who is a great, humble guy who, I owe a lot to him. And when going through this mentorship, because I did get some results, but I came to a point where I was like, I don't know what to do anymore. I work all-nighters. I pushed myself to every limit. I was, really like crushing myself down. And in the end, there was only one way out. And then he, all of a sudden, out of the blue, he showed up in a team hangout like we're doing now, but then with our team on Zoom. And even though I didn't have the money, I knew that when I set that intention, like this happens for a reason, I just gotta go. I just gotta go do this. So it showed up, and I was able to do this. And going through my personal story and my youth and all the things that I went through, because I was going through some rough times in my younger years. And I never thought that that this was anyhow affecting my results, or anyhow affecting my my business results, or the things I wanted to achieve. So I was always thinking like, you gotta just push and work hard and never give up and just go there, have faith and believe and visualize and just do this. And then I remember that Darren once told me, and this actually, I got some help for this as well. So it sounded familiar. Like I was not able to connect with my emotions. And at that point, he said, like, I can see and I can observe that it's something that you try to protect yourself from letting people in, or even, receiving or sharing love and affection for other people. That's why probably it can be hard for you to connect with others. And that made so much sense to me at that point, that right then and there, I made the decision to to search the whole web, the whole world wide web, so to speak, the whole internet, to find out what this wall around my heart or any kind of, protection could be. And that's when I got to several videos, several information, several resources about a heart wall. And I not only found out that I was able to help myself release that heart wall and some people, who were close to me, because I also found out that I was quite talented to help others, right, to do this. And that's when first of all, I got started a couple of months, just helped people on the fly for free, because I really wanted to, to be sure that this was really working. And I really wanted to help people. So I wanted to, I tried to help some people in my near environment, like myself, my girlfriend, some people in my family. And then I decided to go for it. Like everything leaded for me up to this path to really, go for it. And this is what I have to do. So I went to get a certification for it. Then that's, I think, about 10 months ago now. And from there on, I helped over 60 people as a client to really have some major breakthroughs in their, in their story, in their business, in their life. And yeah, that's how it all got started. So now we're here.
That's amazing. And you know what's really interesting, Jeroen? Like this is not my first time working with energy healers. And what I've experienced is short-term relief. A lot of the times is, they'll do Reiki healing over me and release some sort of blocks. But then the next day I bounce back to where it was. Whereas with you, what was so interesting is that, everybody reacts differently. But for me, I would feel the emotion that I'm releasing. And I would feel really emotional, and sometimes I would cry, and these emotions would just bubble up. And I would message you, I'm like, I think something's working because I'm releasing a lot. Because here the thing is that in order for you to release, it has to go through you, right? And it was the first time in my life that I actually felt it. It was undeniable, right? And while it was emotional, and sometimes it depending on what emotions you're releasing, it can be emotionally painful. It can be, right? It depends on the person. At least this is for me. But as immediately after I released those emotions, things just started happening randomly, effortlessly, in ways I couldn't even imagine. And that's what just blew me away. I'm like, this guy has talent. There, you have a special ability, and that is why I live by it, because every time you are in my life, I just get so lucky, because I release things from my childhood. You tell me things about myself that I haven't shared with anyone, which is phenomenal to me, So I just want to maybe educate the audience on what exactly is an abundance block, right? You mentioned a little bit about having that emotional wall, not being able to connect with people, but maybe we can help our audience here grasp what exactly is an abundance block and how does that impact their lives and in their business as well?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, an emotional energy, an emotional blockage is just one of the things that can actually happen, right? That can actually be imbalancing your energy field. If you look at anything around you right now, the phone here in my hands, or this pen, or this bottle of water, everything is actually energy, right? There's a guy, and probably most of you who are watching this know this, Semyon Kirlian, who came up with a form of photography where he could actually make a picture of the energy field around living things, like leaves or an apple, or fingerprints of a human hand. So the most interesting thing to me when I first saw this was that when he took a leaf from a tree and he took a photo, a picture of it, so he could see the leaf, then he broke it into two pieces and he removed the upper half. Then he took the Kirlian picture in his specific way, in his specific method, and you could see the bottom half of the leaf, but still the upper half of the energy body. So I was thinking, if a tree is a living thing, right? It's a living plant. It's alive. So I just have to believe. I had to believe that us as being humans here, we have some kind of energy body as well. So that's when I started to really dig deep, and I came to some specific resources on YouTube, and you know, I can share a lot. If people want to ask, just comment below. I can share some of this stuff on my website. There's a lot of this stuff as well. So in a sense, we all have this electromagnetic field around us. Okay, it's like this cocoon that is, you know, from the heart, because the heart is really the center, the core of our being. So it's like this cocoon all around us that goes outwards here, and it's all around us, like say 1.5 meters, all around us. And this is the first way that we connect with other people. It's our first way of communication. You recognize when people say, when they come into a room and they experience a specific vibe, right? For example, there has been a fight or an argument, or it's really, really nice and everyone's happy there. People can feel this, right? And I started wondering, what is this? You know, how is it possible that people can actually feel this? Well, if you speak of the word vibe, it is actually short for vibration, right? Because everything is vibrating. But we get to this some kind of mental, you know, mind trick that we cannot see this, because our eyes are just transcribing and transferring this energy, this vibration, into what the eyes can see, right? So if everything is energy, then everything down to your thoughts, to the words you speak, to the emotions we experience is energy as well, right? Now, if you look at abundance blocks, what an abundance, and I think of abundance as like a complete, you know, term. It's not only about money or freedom or what else, you know, since we are in an influential in a community of a lot of online entrepreneurs and marketers and people trying to, you know, fix and improve their lives. We most of the time speak about money and speak about abundance in that way, right? But abundance is also about your health, about relationships, and most of all, in my overall view on all of this, for me, abundance really means to be happy, because happiness is the most important thing. You know, why would you want to make 5, 10, or 20K or more a month and have that freedom to go wherever you want to go or do whatever you want to do, right? Because it makes you happy. It's all, you know, in the end, it's all about happiness. So you can see, you can tell, like an abundance block is something that is blocking you from really going to that, you know, to that place, right? To the things you want to manifest in your life, that is, you know, that is showing up in your life. And like you shared in your story, because you are probably the best example of all my clients, what instant things are happening with you. And maybe the audience here have heard of this before. Your inner world is creating your outer world, right? Now, what that really means, and that's why I think it's a bit overrated to say your thoughts create your reality. Because with the knowledge I have right now about the heart being the center of your being, and, you know, creating that electromagnetic field, which is automatically really mirroring you and your outer reality out there. So it's not really about what is going on in the brain, what we used to think, but the most powerful tool is actually the heart. So can you imagine if there's something like a heart wall, which is actually a protection to protect you, to send out those desires, to send out those signals, and to send out love to whatever you love, either it's people, either it's yourself, or the things you want to attract or want to achieve. That is really conflictive, right? It's being transferred into another type of communication out there, which is still keeping you stuck. Now, the most important thing that to understand is the difference between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. That's why I think most people who haven't gone to that place and haven't gone to that specific material, they will never understand why energy healing can work for them, or why it's most of the time the answer to a lot of quote-unquote issues or problems. Now, the conscious mind only gets you this far. It's like, say, like 10%. Maybe that's even too much. It's 10% of what we can think of, what we can actually, consciously experience, what we can do, what we can remember. And the subconscious mind is like our supercomputer. It's something, it's something that runs automatically 24/7. And everything down to your birth, even before birth, is in the subconscious mind. So what we can do, and what I can do, is sometimes I do this alone. Sometimes I get help from my girlfriend Joyce, because she has a real good talent as well to connect with people. The stories I can share with you. I can share a couple later maybe in this interview. But it's really crazy when you think about it. Consciously you cannot even understand that this can happen, right? So there has to be more, and that's where the subconscious, where all your data, it's really your supercomputer that runs on autopilot every day. All your data is in there, and this is how we have been programmed to believe specific things. Now, if you look at abundance blocks in a way of money and freedom, right, and income to change and improve this, then there might be specific vibrations in your subconscious mind that are not aligned with the goals and intention that you set out to do. For example, if you believe that consciously that money is good because you can do good things with you, but your parents, your grandparents, or whoever in your sphere of influence shared with you over and over and over and over again that money is evil, or that rich people do bad things, then this has probably be ingrained in your subconscious mind, and you're not aware of it, because consciously you think, but this is BS, right? I know, because I'm trying to get more money here, so why would I even believe that money is an evil thing? Well, this is where people still try to do this, but it's just not happening.
Wow, that's phenomenal. I found that really, really interesting because, I'm an entrepreneur, and, I believe money is a positive thing, and I really believe that entrepreneurs change the world sometimes more than politicians can. This is my conscious belief, right? But
Right.
This was really interesting because you didn't really know a lot about my past, right? But when you tapped in and you told me that, there is a subconscious belief, there's a block in the believing that money is evil. I was shocked at first, but then I looked at the past, because you released this energy, like generations down. And it's true, because I come from a Romanian background where we lived in a communist regime. And in communist systems, they believe that a capitalist and being entrepreneurial is evil.
Right.
Everybody's treated the same. And the fact that you were able to pinpoint that and release that generations down, but it just made so much sense. But it did caught me by surprise because consciously, this is what I wanted to achieve. But that was the block that I was experiencing. It's like deep down, I believed subconsciously this program that money was evil, and that is why no matter what I was doing, the strategies that I was applying, the mindset training that I was doing, meditations, everything you could possibly imagine, I wasn't able to break through. Why? Because we cannot easily access our subconscious minds on our own. And sometimes we need a guide for that. And you are literally my guide into my subconscious mind. You really, really are. And I'm just wondering, how does this translate into a heart wall? And is it possible to release that? Can we reprogram that data? Is that a possibility? For the people that are watching here, how can we access that? What is a heart wall, and how can we get rid of it? Is it
Right.
possible?
Yes, it is. Yes, it really is. And I will share a couple of stories with you on the webinar that we are about to do in 2 days, next Friday. I'm really looking forward to this because I got some real cool stories to share with you. And, we just talked about abundance blocks. Now, one of the major abundance blockages and one of the major abundance blocks is what we call a heart wall. Mm-hmm. Now, we just discussed the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is actually here and responsible to protect us. Okay, it's really to protect our hearts. So when we go through a specific period of time, a specific events in a row, or something that has so much emotional impact on us, the subconscious mind can decide to really build a wall around our hearts. Mm-hmm. That wall is built up from what we call trapped emotions. So, like I shared before, if everything is energy around us, right? Everything is energy. We are not made of energy. We are energy. Then the emotions we experience, they just imagine they like enter our energy field, and it's this vibration. It's a specific vibration. Mm-hmm. Now, it's only the mind that will attach a story to it and judge it as good or bad. But that's what we teach because that is what is common as human beings, right? What we learn. Because as a child, we didn't know the difference between happy or sad or happy or ashamed or what else, right? Mm-hmm. Now, when these things enter and it is too hard to handle, so to speak, for our energy body, this energy becomes trapped in our energy field. And the real cool thing is when I use muscle testing, which is a technique I will share on the webinar in more detail. And when I sometimes test people in person, then I can actually, for example, when I test someone and I get a yes of some specific trapped emotion at a specific area, let's say it's on the right chest, right? And when I move my hand over there and I keep testing, and it's strong, and all of a sudden it gets weak. So then that's when my energy around the hand is really touching the energy field of the trapped emotion, which is, it's hard to believe, but it's true. People, I can actually feel it, and people can actually feel it as well because, of the testing and the answers we get. Mm-hmm. So this is like an energy ball. It has the size of an orange, which is trapped in the energy body. It can lodge in any part of the body, and it will distort the energy field of our being, of our, of our energy body. So that way, the signals that we put out will be transferred, but also we're not able to really let it flow, and it can cause abundance block, as in form of a heart wall, which I will explain in just a second. But it also can cause any type of health issues, back pains, or pains in specific areas where these things are lodged. So there's a lot going on there that we're not not aware of. We're not able to see this, and we're not able to to pinpoint it. And that's why I also think that energy healing, and there are a lot of techniques, and I'm just one of them. I see myself like one of the guys, and the technique I use is really, really effective, but it is really down to the cause of things. It's different than Western medicine, just really chasing down symptoms, in my opinion. And that's why I love what I do.
Yeah, now, I'm so glad you said that, because a lot of it, I just wanted to touch up on that. I'm a person who actually is in chronic pain. The reason why I do online is because it gives me the freedom to work around my body's problems. And funny enough, I wanted, because for me, the best test is if I can work with an energy healer I can feel a physical decrease in my body, right? Because sometimes mentally it's hard to test and measure an improvement in mood, and you might say there might be other variables. But I remember the very first time I worked with you, I wanted to see if you could decrease my physical pain. And the concept of having emotions stored in your muscles is very real. For example, I practiced yoga for many years, and there's certain poses that makes me cry because I have emotions stored in there. And I could actually measure on a scale of 1 to 10, and it was on a night where I didn't do any exercise, I didn't do any stretches, I just wanted to test this variable. Can energy healing release the physical pain that I had in my body? And I woke up the next morning with a significant decrease in pain. And usually in the mornings is when I wake up the most stiff, right? And that's when I realized, I'm like, there's something to this, because I can physically measure it. And you released something in my body. And it's true. We do protect ourselves. The reason why my muscles tense up is because I got injured. And what do muscles do when they get injured? They clench.
Right.
Because they're afraid that you're going to get attacked again. And to me, that's the same analogy that is applied to a heart wall, right? Even when you get emotionally injured, you create a wall. It's the same thing happens with our body. So for me, what was fascinating is that I not only noticed a change in symptoms of what was going on internally, mentally, emotionally, but also physically. And that was undeniable proof for me. So I just wanted to kind of drop that in there because, if for those of you that want to, because abundance is really overall quality of life, right? Not just financially, but physically, health-wise, relationship-wise, right? And I really experienced abundance even health-wise. So I just wanted to drop that in there.
Awesome. Yeah, I can remember that we first focused on that, and then when you came back to me when you were having some harder times in your business, then it all of a sudden began to pop out of nowhere. I still can remember that we first started to focus on that. But to hammer home about the heart wall is that when you have these trapped emotional energies, when something gets so rough and something gets has so much impact where the energy body is not able to actually get rid of those, to have the normal flow of that energy, of that emotional energy, just go away, it can use all those specific energies, those specific emotional energies, to build a wall around your heart. That is what we call the heart wall. Wow. So it contains of specific trapped emotions, and every trapped emotion is like a layer of the heart wall. So think of an onion. When you have an onion and you cut that onion in half and you look inside the onion, where you see the center of the onion, and most of the time it's actually the shape of a heart, which is pretty cool. And you see the onion rings around it. That is exactly how a heart wall energetically is built up. So every single onion ring you see is a layer of the heart wall. And to bring down the heart wall, that happens in layers. It happens layer by layer. And most people I work with, they are they want to move fast, right? They want to release. I remember when we got started as well, they want to release everything as fast as possible and really experience that breakthrough. I was one of them because I can really relate to what happened. But what's really useful and really important to understand, that healing happens in layers, and the heart wall is the best example of this. Every single layer together they form the heart wall. So if we want to bring down that heart wall, we need to focus on releasing every single layer by layer. And we can measure how thick it is, what it's made of, when it got origin, when it got formed, what specific things happened and triggered this to actually, form this heart wall. And, I was a personal trainer for quite a while, like 5 or 6 years. I helped a lot of people physically. So I can really relate to the energy body being the same as the physical body, the same, quote unquote, the same as the physical body, as it relates to we need to actually recover from specific, how do you say that, from exercise, for example, for things that you have to do, or when you go to the gym, for example, in my example as a personal trainer, when you go to the gym and you have a heavy workout and you haven't been to the gym for like quite, a few months, and you have a heavy workout, then you probably be sore for the next week, right?
Guilty.
Now this is exactly the same thing. People can really relate to this, and the energy body is the same thing. What I do is I help the energy body heal itself. So I am the one that really can release, using a magnetic field, can release that that energy ball, and then have it released and have the body heal itself. And that's what the processing, most of the time, what people experience, like you, out of nowhere started to cry, having some vivid dreams, being really tired, having, needing lots of sleep. That's all part of the process. And that is actually showing you that something is working, something's happening there.
Yeah, and that's absolutely true. I would go for a walk and I would notice I become super emotional and I start crying and I start releasing, or there's sometimes where I need to sleep more, so everybody reacts differently. But if you're getting a reaction, that means that something is working. And I think a lot of people are curious. How does he release it? How does this actually work? What I wanted to invite you guys is to our next coming webinar. It's going to be on June 2nd, 6 p.m. EST, 3 p.m. PST. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you live exactly how this is possible. So if you're watching this right now, drop a comment down below if you want access. We'll give you access to register. But it'll be really, really phenomenal to get more in-depth knowledge about, what exactly are these blocks? How is it possible to release it? And how can it apply to your life, to release those layers that are holding you back? So any last remarks on that event coming up, Jeroen?
Yeah, in the webinar, I will discuss mostly about the heart wall. The heart wall is really the center, the topic of this webinar. And I've had the experience myself, as well as Joyce, my girlfriend. As I shared before, healing happens in layers. So I was thinking, when I release a heart wall, then, things really start happening. And it did. But, I was able to test myself. I still test myself, every other day. And I found another heart wall, because when you think of healing, it happens in layers. And right now, there are specific things that need my attention. First of all, right now, right? Because this is on the surface level, and you've experienced this as well. Because as we go deeper into these levels, more things will come to the surface of, the subconscious, and it will reveal itself. So and this was truly, truly my most amazing experience. I will share this in more detail tomorrow. It's Friday. But when I found a second heart wall, I was able to release it over a period of time, say 2 to 3 weeks, I guess. In the moment I released the last layer, I first of all felt so much lighter. It's like, it was like this heavy weight was really, lifted from my shoulders. But in an instant, I manifested over $4,000.
Wow.
I got a phone call from my accountant sharing this. It's a pretty big story, but it came down to I should have paid over 2,000 euros in taxes, but now I got back 4,000.
Wow.
So I still can remember that I was here in this room shooting a video. I was so happy, of course, because of the money, but also because I really had the experience now myself that I could share with people. And I honestly, 100% believe that this can help people. And that's why I love to share this as well in the webinar that we're about to do next Friday. So I'm really looking forward to this. And yeah, let's do this.
Let's do it. I'm really excited. And, I'm walking proof. People can see it. People have watched the journey. And I've had so many people ask you, Julia, what is the reason you broke through? Strategy, yes. Mindset, yes. It's a journey on the inside. But to tap into your subconscious mind, to release those energetic blocks that you're not even aware of, you need a guide. And that's why I'm so thrilled to share this experience. It would be selfish to keep it to myself. And I'm it's really about giving back to the community. And I'm really excited to show exactly how this is possible this Friday, June 2nd, 6 p.m. EST, 3 p.m. PST. So we look forward to having you there. Register right now. We'll make sure you whitelist the email. We're going to keep you up to date right when we go live. And I'm telling you, if you have any appointments you want to cancel, you want to make it a priority, because this could potentially change your life forever. So I'm really excited to have you guys there live. Thank you so much for tuning in here with us. If you found this useful, comment down below, share it with your friends, with your family, because that's what abundance is all about. It's about sharing that experience with everybody else as well. So thank you so much for being on here live. And we'll see you on Friday. Ciao for now.
Bye-bye.